That's scary stuff there, and thinking about all the stress most Americans have in their lives.
Well,
that brings us to our next topic. We have Barb Schmidt here with us today to discuss stress management techniques. Barbara is the author of The Practice, Simple Tools for Managing Stress, Finding Inner Peace, and Uncovering Happiness. Barbara, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about what it is you do?
Yes. You know, it's all about how can we find time in our day to be with ourselves. A minute here and a minute there. We are so externally driven. Everything that we do is contingent upon the external world. So my practice is about how can we start to come into ourselves for a minute and then come back out. So it's really about the breath. It's about how do we find that connection with ourselves where the confidence, the planning, the courage, all of that stuff lies. And so we can try to find that balance between the inside and the outside.
You know, I hear you say the word practice, and I think in a lot of families around the country, yoga is seemingly everywhere now. My
wife loves it.
My sister-in-law, my mom, my own sister, they're all just obsessed with yoga. Is this part of kind of that same idea, internalizing into yourself and just taking time to breathe to relieve stress?
It is. It's part of that. So yoga is a practice that takes about an hour, hour and a half, depending on what you're doing. So that is part of the practice. But a major part of it is how do we find a minute here and a minute there? I teach, you know, the first thing we do when we wake up, we hit the ground running. So how are we going to be able to handle the stresses of the day? So I teach, spend a minute with yourself first, just noticing your breath. Letting the thoughts in the mind come and go, and just bring yourself back to the breath just for a minute. And believe it or not, you can carry that minute throughout the day. So I'm feeling stressed, something's thrown me off. I take a pause and I can breathe for a minute and just to kind of bring myself back to center. There's amazing benefits of bringing myself in and then going back out. We don't give ourselves permission enough to just stop and breathe and then go again. So it's all part of that practice of coming in and out of ourselves.
And tell us a little bit about your organization. It's called Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. Can you tell us what exactly your organization does?
Yes, so I've been practicing these techniques and this idea of how do we live our lives actually from the inside out and not be at the mercy of this craziness of the external world. About 4 years ago, I founded this nonprofit, Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. It's a community, it's a resource, it's a way of helping people how to connect with that inner source within. How do I start to really live my life this way? How can I get this beautiful rhythm going of living from the inside out? So it's a resource, and we fund projects, speakers, people that are out there trying to help us find this inner peace, which ultimately the mission of Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life is helping the world find outer peace. But we do that one person at a time, finding our own sense of balance and connectedness. So it's become a real massive, actually it's a movement.
Oh, that's great. We need that.
Helping this universe.
Lord knows we all can use
we do.
a little bit more peace and a little bit more consciousness in our own lives, even if it is just for 1 minute at a time. Barb, we had some video up there of you at a TED Talk down in Boca Raton, Florida. Any more TED Talks coming up?
This one was so fantastic. No, this was so great to try to find a way to put everything in 13 minutes.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're out of time as well, Barb. We want to thank you very much for your presence here today on Newsmax.
It helped us relax.